My cat says she wants to take up ballet. What the fuck do I do about that?
Hello! Hello, everybody. Welcome to Monday stream. How are you guys doing? How was your weekend? Mine was fine. I don't actually quite remember. Did we do anything this weekend? Did we do anything this weekend? Did we do anything this weekend? What the fuck did we do this week? Oh, we worked on the fucking car. Was that just was that it? Like, we worked around the house and then we didn't really do anything yesterday, right?
I mean, we did work around the house.
Right, but we didn't, like, whatever. Saw a Ukrainian and National Philharmonic performance. It was phenomenal and quite heartfelt. I would imagine so. That sounds incredible. That sounds like a lot of fun. Where was that? Was that here? Are you here? I actually don't know where you are.
Hey, look at that truck.
Ah, Dubs. I turned the volume down. But hello, buddy. It was in Carmel. Okay. My fiance is a musician, so he was really into it, and so was I. That's awesome. Is he that style of musician? Like, does he do like orchestral stuff or more like traditional band stuff? I don't really know how to phrase it. God, I'm not even high yet. Yeah, he prefers classical music. So we go to listen to one of his favorite composers, who is a Russian classical composer. Super cool. I don't think I've ever been to an orchestral performance before, or like a symphony or anything. Closest thing I guess I would say to that I've seen is I have seen the Trans-Siberian Orchestra a couple times, but that's about as far as that goes for me. The composer of Name has a symphony with an intro that John Williams was inspired by for the Jaws theme. That's super interesting. Fuck, do I take that away? Show mod icon? Is that? Well. Okay, alright, they'll fix it. Neat! No, that's legitimately, like, very, very cool. I would like to do something like that one day. I got to turn the fan on, guys. It is toasty in here. Well, cool. That's really neat. That's interesting. How long was the whole show? Was the whole performance? Also, Queen, are you saying that you've just been watching my streams muted and didn't realize it? Which, fair. It was about 2 hours and included 2 concertos and an intermission, and the full symphony. Wow. That sounds pretty nice. I'm more, I love classical music, and I think I would enjoy going to a performance like that, but I think I'm more into stage plays, I think, because as much as I do love the music, I think after a certain length of time, I just think I personally would probably, like, start to get bored, like, because, like, I love classical music and I will listen to it, but thinking about it, it's more of like a background thing for me. It's a background appreciation. If I was, like, sitting there and that was the focus of it, like that was the only thing, I don't think I would be as much into it. But I love stage plays. For our honeymoon, Mana and I got tickets to see Wicked from as a wedding gift from her aunt, and that was incredible. That was a ton of fun. I don't think we've been back since then, but I would love to. I have issues with theaters, though. Oh, it was still on the waiting screen when I realized. Oh, okay, before you actually started speaking. Well, good. Good thing you didn't miss a single word that I've said, because we all know everything I say is super important. That's why you get a drink during the intermission. Fair enough. And also, it's good to have someone who knows the piece, or if you know the piece yourself. True. But plays are wonderful as well. Just saw one in the fall that was amazing. What did you see? I'd be interested to know what you saw, and whether you enjoyed it or not. yeah. So we've seen Wicked, and that's the first stage play I've been to in quite a while. When I was a kid, like my family did a lot of traveling, and we've seen like my parents also enjoyed the theater, so I got to see a lot of like big productions, mostly Disney, or the like Disney inspired ones, because my parents are also huge into Disney. So like, but I've seen Phantom of the Opera, The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast. Those are the three big ones I can think of off the top of my head. I'd have to ask them what other ones we've seen and if they even remember. But the other fun thing I did was in the town over from the small town I grew up in. They had a theater that did like really small local plays, and for a couple years during the summer, my dad and I would volunteer there as ushers. So we, basically all we did was it wasn't even assigned seating, so we didn't really even have to like help people to seats. We just handed out brochures, answered any questions if anybody had any, and just kind of to be there for whatever may happen. But that was a ton of fun. I can't like distinctly remember any plays we saw. Like I said, they were all small productions. They were probably written by the people performing them. So I can't really name any names, and also I was like 7, so don't quite remember the details. Grew up a massive theater nerd. You're speaking my language. Yeah, I love the theater. I have there's a lot of people I know who are in like local theater production. I haven't gone. I need to, like, I should. The play I saw was called Coping with Autumn. Saw it in Lawrence. It was a premiere performance too. Super cool. Did you enjoy it? My stepmom did costuming, and my dad was a stagehand at Beef and Boards when I was growing up. Boy, what a name. I'm back. Yeah, I love the theater. Except I have a problem being at the theater, depending on where. Oh, I've also seen a lot of stand-up shows. I've seen Jim Gaffigan. I saw when Whose Line did a live performance here. Well, I went and saw that. I saw Michael McDonald live, but that was actually in like a club in like Louisville or something, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I can't name all of them. I've seen a bunch of performances. We have a big local theater here called the Victory Theater, and so I've been there a handful of times for different things. My problem, though, and probably why I don't go as much, so I guess I don't specifically know what to call it, but the closest thing that I say is that I have vertigo. So I hate being in large, open, high-ceiling rooms. So like school gymnasiums. So that was fun for my entire K through 12 school career. And theaters. I literally, like, I can't explain it. Well, I can explain it, but it's not logical. Which, I mean, hey, that's what phobias are. Like there was no like triggering incident or anything like that, but it's spaces like that, and also like ledges. But again, like in like, so I say I have vertigo, and I say that I have a fear of heights because that's just easier as like a blanket statement than having to like explain my specific fears like every single time. But so like basically the two places that I really don't like being in are like I said, like school gymnasium type rooms, and like malls that have a second floor, but like an open second floor where it's just like a walkway and then like a banister. I can't do it. I would rather die. I want someone to kill me. It's a I have never been more terrified than like when I am in those situations. So unfortunately, that gets triggered a lot when I'm at the theater, because it's a very similar environment. The only place I can comfortably be in at a big stage theater is underneath the balcony in the back, because like I have something over my head, and then I'm fine. Which is actually what happened like on Mana and I's honeymoon. The seats we got were super great seats for most people. They were like center and very near the orchestra, but with like a 50 to 60 foot ceiling. I was having a panic attack the entire first half of the play. Finally, when the intermission hit, I got up, like got out of there as quickly as I could without like making a scene, and but I didn't want to ruin it. I didn't want to leave. Like I still wanted to watch it. Like I enjoy seeing plays, but thankfully Mana was able to be an adult and talk to somebody, and the staff there were very nice, very kind, and very understanding. And while it was like basically a full theater, they brought me a chair and like sat me in a space where I could watch the rest of it. But yeah, so that's kind of my difficulty going to any sort of like big performance thing is if I don't know what the theater looks like, I just like probably won't go, because I don't want to take a chance of spending that much money on something where like I'm gonna get there and be like, oh, I can't be here. Greatly enjoyed the show. It was a very intense show emotionally, because it was about the trials and trauma of a college student told through her 4 personas, not necessarily DID, but close. But very well acted, and I miss Whose Line. I do too, and like I know they did the revival show like a couple years ago, but I honestly just didn't watch it. Like that was a show where it's like, man, I love it. I wish there was just more of it. But when they announced that it was coming back, and nothing to the host, because I love that actress, but just when it wasn't Drew, I was like, I don't care. I knew it wasn't going to be as good as the original, like it, lightning in a bottle situation. Yeah, so I haven't watched anything of the new one, like a couple clips here or there, just to see, and I feel like I made the right choice in just not watching it. I didn't like what I saw, at least. And it wasn't even like the performers were bad. It was just... Again, it was mostly the host, and it was a lot of the prompts as well. Like, things just felt very forced. They felt cheesy and canny and phoned in, and it just didn't have the same vibe. They were just trying. Like, you could tell it was one of those things where, like, I'm sure there was a lot of passion behind it from a lot of different people, but at the end of the day, it felt more like it was a decision made by a bunch of suits. That's like, you know, oh, well, we kind of need more money in this market over here. What do we do? Or, like, well, Whose Line Is It Anyway did really well. Why don't we just do that again? And they were just, like, expecting to get the same amount of money. I feel like they were just trying to do the same thing again, and it just didn't really stick with me. Queen is Is Quotan's off today, or is he at work? I was talking to him earlier, but maybe that's just because he went in later today and he's working through the evening instead of in the morning. Gotcha. Okay. Well, he may have been just like on break or something then. Okay. 12 to 7. Thank you. No. No, it's got nothing to do with that. I was just curious because I was texting with him, and normally when he's at work, he doesn't text back as much. You are plenty fun. I'm glad you're here. But if you could, like, go and get him. God. I feel comfy. Do you know what I mean by that? Hi, Rogue. Hi, honey. Oh, come here, baby. I know you don't like being picked up, but do you want to say hi? You want to say hi? Come here. Oh, Big Mama. Look at Big Mama. Hi. Hi, Rogie. Meh. 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 She is. She is so adorable. Hold on. Okay. Okay, hold on. Okay. 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 I know you don't like being held. I'm putting you down. There you go. Nova, leave her alone. Yeah, she adorable. She's our mama. Not that we fucking knew that when we got her. But we learned. But we learned. I've been trying to tame a stray for the past 2 weeks. She and my orange boy get along wonderfully. She's just still timid about humans, but she did let me pet her yesterday. That is progress. Yeah, I mean, you know, cats are super, cautious. They are also super territorial. So, if you say that she and the cat and the cat that you already have, your orange boy, if they seem to get along fine enough already, then I would hope there wouldn't be too much of an issue. Is your cat an outside cat as well? How do you know that they get along wonderfully? Like, just from the windows? Oh my god, I don't think I like how I look anymore without my glasses on. It used to be the opposite. I used to hate how I looked in glasses. I'd considered contacts for years, except they're super expensive, and I feel like I probably couldn't take care of them well enough. But I think it finally flipped. They boop noses with the screen door between them. Okay. Okay, that's a very good sign then. Hi, you. Come here. Come here, Nova. I don't know. There she is. This is Nova. This is our other problem child. Hello. Hello. All you ever want is love. All you ever want is love, but it's also literally all you ever want. It's 24/7. You have to be the same. Oh, what you looking at? Oh, do you see you? Do you see you? Is that you, Nova? Who is that? Who is that? Oh, are you getting all excited? I love her. Yeah, I mean, that's a good sign. You know, like, obviously, if they're not, hissing at each other, that's great. Still be prepared for, like, if you, manage to like, get the stray inside, if that is what you're looking at doing here. Cats are just weird sometimes, where, like, they'll be doing what you're talking about and seem completely fine, but it's, like, the second that stray cat steps into your home, that may be completely different for your other cat. That just may be one of those things where it's like, hey, there was a border there and you weren't in my home, and that is okay. You are now in my home, and I don't fucking know you. So, just be prepared. Nova is a sweetie. She's just, she has a lot of anxiety about everything. And like I said, like, the cutest, the best thing about her and the most annoying thing about her are that all she wants is love and affection from everybody, but it is all of the goddamn time. Like, there are very, very few moments where, if someone's home, Nova will, like, go and do her own thing. If someone's home, she has to be sitting with or as close to one of us as she can. And when we go to bed at night, like, we allow her up on the bed, like, she sleeps with us, but she has to be in between Mana and I. It is a literal fight for Mana and I to, like, cuddle at all if we want to, because Nova has to be there, and she will force her way in there, or she will throw a fit if she can. So it's, there are times, honestly, where, like, even though it's, like, the middle of the day or something, if Mana and I are both home and free, she'll run in to the bedroom, because, like, we're going to cuddle, and then we'll have to, like, get her all excited and like get her out of the bedroom and then just close it behind her. And I always feel like a dick because she gives me that look in my eyes right as I'm doing it of just the pure betrayal. But it's like, bitch, like, I fucking love you, but like we need some us time for like 5 goddamn minutes.
Absolutely.
Ah! Hey, hon.
Hi, chat. I've been standing here for like a solid minute listening.
I've been talking.
I thought for sure you were seeing me because I've been sitting here like this.
No, I'm in a there's a space.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no.
You ever watch Doctor Who?
Ooh. Hi, chat. I'm very tired. But no, he's right. She will absolutely come in and lock eyes with me as she inserts herself between me and my husband. Yeah.
She's got the most adorable underbite, and she really has a... Oh, okay, goodbye. She really has a look where she stares into your soul.
She does. But she's sweet, though. What?
I forgot about little Freddy. Can you give him a lick? Can you give little Freddy a lick?
I'm sorry, what?
Little Freddy. Over here.
Oh. Meh.
Oh, other way. Mirror it, hun.
Hold on, hey babe.
What?
Can you do a be right back screen? Something's wrong with Leonard.
Okay, we're all good. It's all fine. Everything's fine. It actually is. I'm just rambling. I've got Quotons' spoiled voice screaming at me and biting my elbow for attention. And I know what you're saying. I'm still at the point where, as long as I can get her in the carrier, and at least get her to a shelter, I'd be before that. Because to be honest, we already have plans for a cat on my birthday. But then this little girl showed up, so who knows? Yeah. I said that. I need to process all that. Hold on. At the point where as long as I can get her in the carrier and get her to a shelter, I'd be before that. Because to be honest, we already have plans. I'm gonna get a cat for my birthday, but then this little girl showed up, so who knows? Yeah, so I mean, obviously, you know, you do you. If you just want to get her safe, but then still, you know, go to a shelter or something to adopt a cat for your birthday, there's nothing wrong with that. Personally, I don't know, it kind of sounds like she chose you. But again, I realize how that can sound like pressure. But no, like, if you're not comfortable doing that, then there is nothing wrong with simply rescuing her and providing her with a better care and future than she would as a stray. Whether that's with you or not. Mana, why'd that taste like spaghetti? not. Isn't there a place that sells spaghetti hamburgers? I can't remember what I'm talking about. I mean, like, I know what I'm talking about, but I can't remember if that's something that my brain is just using like 5 different images to conjure, or whether that is a thing. But I can't remember where from. But I can think of an image of a spaghetti hamburger. Oh, maybe that's just the munchies, I don't know. No one tell milk. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for anyone who's watching this. What are we doing today? Oh right, I'm playing Birth by Sleep. We should get to that. Bro, you're good. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Winterbean. Hey, you guys might be able to see all 3. The trifecta. Hey, come here. Come here, Winterbean. Come here, Beansy. Oh no! Everybody, this is Winter. What was that, honey? Oh goodness, why are you? She's such a whiny bitch. Yes, you are. You're a princess. You've been treated so good all your life. You have 0 idea what hardship is. You think you do. You think you do, but you're just a big diva. Yeah. She is a diva. But she's so pretty. The problem is she knows it. Okay, honey. Oh. Okay. I would just put you down now. I always said I wanted a white cat, and now that I have one, there's proof I have one everywhere I go. But yeah, that's all 3 of our girls. Rogue, Winter, and Nova. And Winter is Rogue's daughter. Yes, I guess for those of you who don't know, so we bought this house in 2019, like beginning of the year, like January of 2019. By March, we decided we were ready to get our first pet. That was one of our like huge deciding factors in buying a house in the first place, was to be able to have the pets that we wanted to, and not having to worry about all the extra money of taking care of one, and then rent increase and pet insurance that we'd have to get through the apartments and all that sort of stuff, and being able to or having to be told what we could and couldn't have in terms of pets. So Mon and I both want animals, or both love animals, and we do want animals. So that, between the 2 of us, that was like a big reason why we wanted to get out of an apartment and into a house. So anyways, 2019, we get Rogue, because a friend of ours at the time, had recently, moved into her, into a home as well, Um, but the person who was leaving was her cousin, and she had a cat and a dog, but wasn't taking the cat with her, and was just leaving her behind for our friend to take care of. And so she told us about it, and she already had, I think, like 4 or 5 cats with her at the time. And so she was just like, look, I obviously love cats, but I can't take care of another one at this point. So we went out to meet her and immediately connected with her. I loved her the first second I saw her. And, like, I had been skeptical up to that point just because of our money and everything. The whole drive out there, and you can ask Mana, she'll tell you. That, like, the whole ride up there, I'm like, I don't know, you know, like, just be prepared for, you know, if I say no, like, if it doesn't go well, blah, blah, blah. And she was just like, okay. And sure enough, like, as soon as we got in there, I did a 180, and I was like, we have to have her. And that was Rogue. That was a little old Rogue. So essentially, I'm going through all this to say that where we got Rogue was just like from a friend's house, and like her cousin also didn't like adopt her from like a shelter or anything either. She was just an outside cat from around the area that she brought in. But this person apparently wasn't the best at taking care of their animals, and like we were asking our friend, you know, like, has she ever been taken to the vet? Is she chipped? Does she have, you know, any of her vaccinations and all that? And every answer was, and this was from the friend's cousin, not the friend, because they would ask, and every answer was just, no, or I don't know. It's like, okay, good job. So, you know, we took Rogan the first time. Everything was great. And then after like a couple weeks, you know, we noticed she was getting bigger. I won't say fatter, just bigger. And again, you know, Mana was the first one to notice, and she brought it up as a concern. But I didn't wave it off completely. I just said, like, well, Rogue's going from an environment of 5 to 6 cats, and having to, you know, get whatever food she could in that situation, to suddenly being the only animal in the house, and we feed her, you know, very well. So yeah, like, obviously she is gaining weight. She's still growing. You know, she's getting older because she was a very young cat. And as we learned, she was around 6 to 7 months. And you know, so I was just like, you know, she's a growing cat and she's eating a lot more. Like, she's just getting fat. But then it was starting to get concerning, so we were like, okay, let's take her in. And so we went to the vet, who is also a personal friend of ours. Like, they were one of Mana's bridesmaids. So we took her to our vet friend. And she said the same things I did, but also said, you know, she's like, well, she is growing and gaining weight. She looks young. But I don't like how firm her stomach feels. So we're going to take her back for an ultrasound. So we can see whether this is fat, or whether this is something like a mass or a tumor, or if she's pregnant. took her back, and I wasn't happy. And I just remember like sitting there, like just gently shaking my head constantly. And Mana's like, "You gonna be okay?" And I was like, because what I said was, I would never wish for a cat to be sick, but I kind of hope this cat is sick. Because the reason I thought that was because, like I said, we had literally just gotten the house, and the thought, and I was just now getting to the point where I was kind of okay with the additional responsibility, money-wise, to own an animal. One, and a cat, because they're cheaper, kind of, in different ways. And now, I'm facing the prospect of potentially having multiple cats in our house that we were not prepared for. And newborn kittens, which I've never had to handle. So that's why I said I thought she was, I kind of hoped she was sick, because I didn't want to deal with all that. And because if she was sick, it was something that would hopefully be able to be, like, taken care of. However, as with the proof you saw earlier that I provided, she was pregnant. And by the way that our vet gave us that news, by the way, was not coming in and telling us gently. There was no sort of, so we performed the scan, and we do want to inform you that Rogue is indeed pregnant. She just walked by the door that went back to the labs, and the door was like half glass. It was like mostly a glass window, like into the back, so we could see the whole thing. And so she just walks up to where she can look into our examination room from like 20 to 30 feet away, gets our attention, and then just does this. And that's how I found out my cat was pregnant. It was funny, and like very much one of those things that, like, had that not been our friend, like, that seems unprofessional. But because she was our personal friend, it was completely fine. And like I said, very funny. But yeah, then like, and here was the second panic attack. Was, so she gave us that news, and then I was like, okay, so what, like a month or so? And she was like, oh no, like 1 to 2 weeks. So I got on the internet and I did a lot of research into kitten care. But everything went fine. She gave birth fine to 4 kittens, all of which were born. The heartbreaking part about it was, so we actually know two of the kittens already had homes. One of our other friends and our boss at the time, because at the time, both Mana and I worked at the same place and under the same person. So our friend took one, she took another one, and we had a friend who was going to take a third one, but then he ended up betraying the entire friend group. So he was gone, and we weren't giving the cat to him anymore. And so we decided we were keeping Winter, like, for sure. And then when that whole thing with the ex-friend happened, we decided we were going to keep that one as well. Unfortunately, though that was our plan, we ended up getting him adopted out because not a day in his life did he ever use the litter box. Not once. He always went somewhere in the house. And it was one of the hardest decisions I ever made because I loved him. I loved him so much. He was my little buddy. We named him Phoenix because he was a little orange guy. He was an orange guy with a white muzzle and white socks. And we named him Phoenix, and I loved him. But we did, like both Mana and I said, we literally just bought this house. We cannot keep a cat here who is just going to be pissing and shitting all over our new fucking house. He's just got to be a cat in a one cat house. So he went up for adoption at the agency that actually helped us greatly during this whole process. They actually they paid for the 4 rogues neutering surgery, as well as her and all of her kittens vaccinations. They handled the money on all of that. Going through them, we didn't have to pay a dime. Shout out to Another Chance for Animals here in Evansville. If you ever need to do something, I suggest at least giving them a look up. When we went through them, they were still basically a startup. They were super small, worked out of this very old house up on First Avenue, on North First. So hopefully they're still in business and doing better. But yeah, they helped us out phenomenally with a lot. The only money we ever had to give them for the entire thing was the $60 adoption fee for Winter for keeping her. Because just technically how the whole process went was not Rogue, but the 4 kittens, in order for all of this to work, got basically placed in their adoption program. So even though it was our cat who gave birth to this cat, it was at that point technically Another Chance for Animals animal. So we still had to formally adopt her. But again, for a neutering surgery and 5 cats care and vaccinations taken care of, if the only thing I had to do was pay $60 for all that, then okay. That's awesome. So sad about the orange kitten, but glad he's in a happy home. Litterbox issues take major patience and time to resolve. Absolutely. And it's could it have been something that was resolved? Maybe. But we couldn't try. We with it being every single day, and the fact that we just got a new house, it was too much. So But yes, I also, I asked them, I said, like, I know this is probably not something you normally do, since, like, once we give him up, I understand that he is not ours anymore, he's not mine, but when he gets adopted, can you let me know? Because that was the other, like, huge, like, just heart rip for me, was the fear of, I'm taking him out of a loving home and potentially, like, putting him in a cage for God knows how long, months, years. Is he gonna be one of those cats that just grows up in a shelter? He was adopted in 2 weeks, and that didn't surprise me one bit. They said some nice little girl, like her parents got him for her. And so, I hope that everything went perfect. I hope they love each other. I hope he's in a loving, caring home, watching this little girl, growing up with this little girl, and that, he didn't keep causing issues, so they got rid of him, and he just keeps getting passed around and all this stuff. Like, I have to shut those thoughts out, because they always come back. But I know, like, if I focus on it, I know he's fine. I know he's happy out there, and that's enough. That's, what else could I want? It can be anything. I volunteer with cats at our shelter, and we had one cat who had been in and out 3 times for litter box issues. Kittens go fast. I would imagine so. I would imagine, kittens are probably pretty easy to get out the door. I would just wonder about the retention rate, of, like, how many times has it actually been, successful, and it's just like, hey, cute kitten, we got him, awesome, like, that was the home he belonged to, versus, those situations of, like, oh, our little kid wants an animal now, we'll go get him a cute kitten, and then, they don't take care of him, or the cuteness of having a small animal and the weight of the actual responsibility of being a pet owner come to that crossroads, and they are brought back. I hope it's a small percentage. I hope that is a very, very, very small percentage. But yeah, like you said, like, some of them, and, like, they're in and out a bunch. And while it sucks, the optimist in me likes to think that just meant, those people weren't right for them. But like you said, while, yes, they had been in and out 3 different times, it also wasn't 4. Maybe it just took a couple tries to find the right person, and then when they did, he found someone that was just either just right for him, and it wasn't ever an issue for them, or they were just good enough with him to resolve that situation for him. But it's also amazing to see older cats go. Absolutely, I love hearing stories of elderly animals getting adopted. I've seen elderly couples want to adopt older pets. Yeah, and don't get me started on Indiana's deal with decline. Makes my, oh my god, I know. I have always had pets my entire life. The only time I've ever lived without a pet was when the 2 years that I lived away for college. And the years between me moving out of my parents' place and then Mana and I getting Rogue, which would have been 3 years. I moved out. I got my own place in 2015. And we got Rogue in 2019. So 4 years. A little less than 4 years because it was the summer of 2015. So it's basically 4 years, but a little less. And that's the only amount of time that I haven't lived with pets. Why am I saying all this? Oh, so growing up, we always had cats. And the four that we had, not all at the same time. Only ever at most had two at the same time. They were all declawed, and so, being a kid and then just not ever thinking about looking into it because it was done. So I just, thought that's what you did. Until I looked into it and, saw what it actually did. Unfortunately, my parents are still, just people who don't care as much. And, they would rather save their furniture. So, they don't have a problem with declawing. But now I do. Like, none of the cats are declawed. My shelter would love to make it a rule in the adoption contract to not declaw, but legally they can't do it. Yeah. Most you can do is just educate anybody who is coming in to adopt a cat. To just educate them as best as you can about the dangers of it and about the process of it. And hey, at the end of the day, about the cost of it. Whether that's just like verbally telling people like during the adoption process about like, hey, if you're thinking about like adopting a cat, or like, hey, like if you're taking this guy home and you're thinking about declawing because you're worried about them like scratching your furniture and stuff, like obviously like the last thing you would want is any harm to come to your property. But this is what you're doing to this animal. And hopefully some minds would be changed. I know not everyone's would. Plenty of people would still make the same decision as my parents of like, no, like my stuff's more important. It's literally clipping off the tops of their fingers, but like, I really like my couch. Which is really the only way to phrase it, because like I'm sure some people would be like, well, don't say it like that, you make me sound like a selfish asshole. And it's like, hey, that's being a selfish asshole. So I'm gonna change the stream title real quick. I don't think we're getting to Kingdom Hearts again. I need to stay on top of this. I need to be getting better. Oh, I don't have to change the title. It has nothing to do with Kingdom Hearts. Great. Oh, I did want to explain the title of stream, though. The stupid... the progressive marketing working. YouTube's ads on their smart TV app make me want to do illegal things to human beings. It is so... There are so many more ad breaks and unskippable ads in their TV app than on their regular mobile app, even without an ad blocker or YouTube Red or Premium or whatever the fuck it's called that is their payment plan that gets rid of ads. That I will always, for my entire life, refuse to buy. The last thing I'm doing is paying for YouTube. I'm not doing that. Anyways, the ads on the smart TV app of YouTube are much more frequent, but also much more repetitive. In that they will happen so much more often, and it'll just be the same fucking ad every single time. And that is the most nail to the temple part of the whole fucking thing. Like, if there was a variety of ads, that would be one thing. Whatever, it would kind of feel nostalgic for me. It would be like commercials again. But the fact that it's just the same, either like very small collection, like 2 to 3, or again, sometimes the exact same ad, time and time and time and time again, it wouldn't be so bad. Which brings me around to Progressive, which has a lot of YouTube ads, and I see them all the goddamn time, so much so that I actually switched to them. It's the car insurance we have. And if they weren't so fucking catchy. So here lately in the Progressive ad timeline plot, the plot of the recent Progressive ads on YouTube Smart TV app have been focusing on John Hamm being weirdly into Flo and just trying his damnedest to get the girl. And the most latest one has them finally on a date in this really nice restaurant. And the only dialogue in this thankfully short ad is all internal monologue. So it starts with John Hamm, and they're staring at each other, like eyes locked in this like romantically lit booth in this super fancy restaurant. And it shows John Hamm, and his internal thought is like, getting a lot of eye contact. Wish I knew what she was thinking. And then it cuts back to Flo, and she's just singing a little Progressive jingle. But it's like 2.5 lines, and then she just repeats it, but not the whole thing. The ad cuts off before she does it again, so you're really hearing this 2 to 3 line jingle repeat 1.5 times, or it plays 1.5 times. And maybe I'm just somewhere on the autism spectrum, or maybe it's ADD or something like that. But like a child who can't stop watching the same 4 episodes of Dora the Explorer over and over and over again, I keep playing it in my head, and it won't leave. I just constantly have this stupid little song that Flo sings in this Progressive YouTube ad stuck in my head on a constant loop all day for like a week now. And I just want to get out of this hell. I'm tired. Sorry, I went somewhere.